Section 147. Vaisampayana said, "Meanwhile the Pandavas got into their cars, yoking thereto some fine horses endued with the speed of wind. While they were on the point of entering their cars, they touched in great sorrow the feet of Bhishma, of King Dhritarashtra, of the illustrious Drona, of Kripa, of Vidura, and of the other elders of the Kuru race, thou saluting with reverence all the older men and embracing their equals, receiving the farewell of even the children, and taking leave of all the venerable ladies in their household, and walking round them respectfully, and bidding farewell unto all the citizens. The Pandavas, ever mindful of their vows, set out for Varanavata, and Vidura of great wisdom, and the other bulls among the Kurus and the citizens also, from great affliction, followed those tigers among men to some distance, and some amongst the citizens and the country people who followed the Pandavas, afflicted beyond measure at beholding the sons of Pandu in such distress, began to say aloud, King Dhritarashtra of wicked soul seeth no things with the same eye. The Kuru monarch casteth not his eye on virtue, neither the sinless Yudhishthira, nor Bhima, the foremost of mighty men, nor Dhananjaya, the youngest son of Kunti, will ever be guilty of the sin of waging a rebellious war. When these will remain quiet, how shall the illustrious son of Madri do anything, having inherited the kingdom from their father? Dhritarashtra could not bear them. How is that Bhishma, who suffers the exile of the Pandavas to that wretched place, sanctions this act of great injustice? Jatugriha, the son of Santanu, and the royal sage Pandu of Kuru's race, both cherished us of old with fatherly care. But now that Pandu, that tiger among men, hath ascended to heaven, Dhritarashtra cannot bear with these princes his children. We who do not sanction this exile shall all go, leaving this excellent town and our own homes, where Yudhishthira will go, unto those distressed citizens, taking in his way the virtuous Yudhishthira, himself afflicted with sorrow, reflecting for a few moments, said, The king is our father, worthy of regard, our spiritual guide, and our superior, to carry out with unsuspicious hearts whatever he biddeth is indeed our duty. Ye are our friends, walking round us and making us happy by your blessings. Return ye to your abodes. When the time cometh for anything to be done for us by you, then indeed accomplish all that is agreeable and beneficial to us. Thus addressed the citizens, walked round the Pandavas, and blessed them with their blessings, and returned to their respective abodes. And after the citizens had ceased following the Pandavas, Vidura, conversant with all the dictates of morality, desirous of awakening the eldest of the Pandavas to a sense of his dangers, addressed him in these words. The learned Vidura, conversant with the jargon of the Mlechas, addressed the learned Yudhishthira, who also was conversant with the same jargon, in the words of the Mlecha tongue, so as to be unintelligible to all except Yudhishthira. He said, He that knoweth the schemes his foes contrive in accordance with the dictates of political science, should, knowing them, act in such a way as to avoid all danger. He that knoweth that there are sharp weapons capable of cutting the body, though not made of steel, and understand all the means of warding them off, can never be injured by force. He liveth who protecteth himself by the knowledge that neither the consumer of straw and wood nor the dryer of the dew burned the inmates of a hole in the deep woods. The blind man seeth not his way. The blind man hath no knowledge of direction. He that hath no firmness never acquireth prosperity. Remembering this, be upon your guard. The man who taketh a weapon not made of steel, that is an inflammable abode, given him by his force, can escape from fire, by making his abode like unto that of a jackal, having many outlets. By wandering a man may acquire the knowledge of ways, and by the stars he can ascertain the directions. And he that keepeth his five senses under control can never be oppressed by his enemies. Thus addressed, Pandu's son Yudhishthira the just replied unto Vidura, that foremost of all learned men, saying, I have understood thee. Then Vidura, having instructed the Pandavas, and followed them thus far, walked around them, and bidding them farewell, returned to his own abode. When the citizens and Bhishma and Vidura had all ceased following, Kunti approached Yudhishthira and said, the words that Khatri said unto thee in the midst of many people, so indistinctly, as if he did not say anything, and thy reply also to him in similar words and voice, we have not understood. If it is not improper for us to know them, I should then like to hear everything that had passed between him and thee. Yudhishthira replied, the virtuous Vidura said unto me that we should know that the mansion for our accommodation at Varanavata hath been built of inflammable materials. He said unto me, the path of escape too shall not be known to thee, and further those that can control their senses can acquire the sovereignty of the whole world. Thy reply that I gave unto Vidura was, I have understood thee. Vaisampayana continued, the Pandavas set out on the 8th day of the month of Phalguna, when the star Rohini was ascendant, and arriving at Varanavata, they beheld the town and the people. Thus ends the 147th section in the Jatugriha Parva of the Adi Parva.